Well, thanks for coming out to. Boy, I gotta wait for it to come online. I want to share my screen. So, thanks for joining me today. I am a solution architect with sonarqube, and I am here to talk about sonarqube. Before we get started, though, I want to make a quick round of introductions, everybody. My name is Clark Williamson. Let's go around the room. All right, thank you, thank you. Nice meeting everybody. So I received an email saying that you want to talk about how sonarqube could be used in your environment to do static code analysis. So I have a small little presentation we can go over, plus a demo that we can do. And so the main reason why you want to use sonarqube is for code quality, technical debt, code coverage, and security. Basically, when we talk about these things, we're talking about a tool that uses static code analysis to tell you where you're at in your project. Right? So we've got quite a few ways to do that, and it's mainly dashboard driven. A little bit more about us. We are very dedicated to our open source community, working with them to provide the best tools to manage your code coverage, your technical debt, your programming project. And we do that through our open source initiatives and community feedback. Some key highlights in our history: we've started in 2006. We opened up the platform in 2009. We have a commercial edition. We went to the cloud. You can pay for commercial use, and you can do it for free for private use. We have about 400,000 organizations that use our tools, with about 21,000 enterprise customers globally. We have 4 versions. The community and data center are solve specific things, where the community is free. You can download it for free and you can use it forever. The developer is a step up. It has a few more languages. We'll get to that in a second. Enterprise is one more level up, where we have a lot more tools for you. And of course, data centers for high availability. It's enterprise edition, but it's high availability. The components, when we talking about the components that are part of it, I'm going to refer to things like code smells, quality gates, quality profiles, defects. This is the main dashboard that you see on the screen for a project that's past the quality gate with all the clickable icons. The main thing you want to look at is, of course, like how well the code is written, especially for security vulnerabilities. We have several integrations. I need to redo this cube. So when we talk about the workflow, I'll redo this one. We talk about the workflow. Our sonarqube server sits inside your data center or in the cloud, and they can connect out to different platforms. They can connect out to Jenkins or GitHub. We'll use GitHub as an example. It connects out to GitHub, and there's an interaction between the two where you can push and pull code between GitHub and sonarqube. So as commits come into GitHub, they will automatically populate inside of sonarqube, and vice versa. If you make changes in sonarqube, you can actually push those changes up to GitHub. Part of the building of the test, you can submit that code back and forth, and you can get instant visibility into what's happening with your project. On the other side of it, which we'll cover in a little bit later, is Sonar linked. So you can configure your desktop to point to a sonarqube server. And as you work on your code, it'll modify and tell you where you need to make changes. As you write code, it'll tell you these are the recommendations. It's not AI. It's not going to do any kind of boilerplate code or examples, but it is, if you use, it'll look for things and say, this is a problem. Here's how we recommend you fix it. But it's not code specific. Not yet. I'm sure at some point they'll probably put AI into it. So those are the integrations you get by default with the community edition. But you need commercial editions to activate more of the features. So our our demo today is just going over the open source version. If you want to see more demos with regard to the enterprise editions or the organization editions, we can provide that. Okay, so when we talk about some quick wins, the first one we're going to talk about is inherited projects. So on the right is all the languages that we support through our community, enterprise, and developer editions. We support all these languages. And we just released the Kubernetes secrets. So we are really trying to crank down on the secrets in 10.3.0. So in 10.3.0, which is our latest edition, we scan for secrets in all of your code, either through variable namings or YAML configuration in variable namings, or we'll just say secrets. We scan through the secrets in your projects. It was a huge push, and so we have this feature enabled so that we can scan through and see the code. We support multiple languages, so that if you inherit, so sometimes companies will inherit a code base from an outside vendor that they've maybe purchased, and as part of the purchase agreement, they provide that code to the customer. And you can use sonarqube to validate quality of code that they've given you. So you can see the technical debt, you can see the technical debt, you can see the security, and you can see the defects through a dashboard. And we support all these languages. The second use case is new developers. So as new developers come on a new team, you can use this tool to find out where you're at in the project, all of the issues that are listed, as well as things that you can fix easily. So as you're more comfortable, you can see the defects, the security vulnerabilities, you can see where the secrets are at. And you're more comfortable working in the code base because you can see the entire code base at once. We do support applications, so you can link each different module into an application. And the way that works is in the configuration in sonarqube, and then you can see the entire project at once. We also do integration with the ticketing systems, so you can easily see the tickets, the assigned, any defect that's assigned to somebody, then you can go and talk to that person and work with them to resolve any issues you have on the code. And the other thing that we support in sonarqube is branches. So as you have development branches, you can take you can create a new branch for your code fixes, and sonarqube can scan just your branch for changes, and then you can push that up as a pull request before you merge it into the code base. You talked about workflow a little bit earlier. Let me remove this workflow up to this one. So we're going to talk about components, we're going to talk about workflows, and then we're going to talk about integrations. As you come into a new company, we have found developers find a lot of success installing sonarqube locally on their desktop and having a linting and security and defects automatically on their desktop so they can see exactly what the project is. So you have, on the other side of it, you have new developers that are joining your team. Well, on this side, you have new code bases on another company, and you can now install it directly. It's very easy to install. It's a few commands, and it gives you full access to linting and all the functionality in the community edition. So you've got linting, you've got Studio Code support, you've got Windows, Mac, and Linux desktops. So it's a very powerful tool to use on a new position. And you can try it out at the link below. Let's go on to the demo now. So the demo is really concise. So what we have here is we have a few websites. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over here and we're going to delete this project. So we've got this new piece of code, which is just an example that has these two modules. And you can see that we've got module 1, we've got module 2, just real simple Java code. This is then configured to point to our Jenkins server, which is then pointing to this multi-mode module. So let's go ahead and build now. Wait for that to process. Only takes a few seconds. And we can go into sonarqube now. And we can see here that it has a few bugs, some maintainability, some duplicate blocks. And we have passed. So the bugs are, for this particular project, are accessibility bugs. And it wants you to add in a header and description of the table. The other one is code smell. So we have this one, which is replace the use of system out by a logger right here. So this is a recommendation. So if you click on it, it's uncovered. Doesn't really tell you much, but it does tell you, like, why is this an issue? And you can see right here, you should have a logger. All right. And then you can point to these right here. Now, the other thing that you can do for this particular installation, I'm logged in as the administrator, so I can actually go through and look at the actual source code for these files. So you can actually drill down and look at the code and see it right here, right? And you can click here and see. So it's easy to navigate, and it gives you an overview of your project. If we check this project out into our setup at our desktop, so we'll close this. Let's open up Visual Studio Code. I have the module already loaded up, so we can see here this code right here, for example. And we have it connected to, sonarqube. So as it runs through and processes it, because it's connected to the sonarqube server that we have running, we will find out the system out here is now flagged. We just saw that earlier. And we can click on the little bubble and it'll show the same thing. Why is this an issue? And it'll say, well, you should do this. Like I said, it doesn't do any AI. So you've got system out, and then you have what you should do is logger. So this is the recommendation. I think there's actually, what else is there? We don't need that. Okay. Well, those are 3. I think these pawn externals are fine. Okay. That's 1, 2, 3. Why is there so many code defects? This cell spacing. And this one is in the test target. Test. No. Tests. No, where's the test target at? Tests. This is a compiled file. Oh, I haven't built it. So if I were to do Maven verify. right? Where is this file at? Tests module 1. Target test. Test, here it is. So JES. So these can be ignored. I'm going to assign it to a bad practice. And apply. So the main code that we were looking at is under the module 1 source. Module 1, this Java system app. This is a really brief example. This is just a highlight of the project. The benefits that you can get from it. And then we can stop. 16 minutes. I think it's perfect. So it's a 20-minute demo, and I talked for 16 minutes. So we can do a little bit longer on a few more of them. So we can end stream. And